Slow living and major cities. Can they coexist? Today we're going to be tackling that question in today's video about slow living and how you can live a slow lifestyle in a big city. Hello my friends, I hope you are having the most magical day. My name is Helena and I run the blog and YouTube channel called Simple Joys. I am an American expat in France, a photographer, blogger, and I am very passionate about inspiring and uplifting people to notice the simple joys all around them. Today we're going to be talking about how you can live in a city and still have a slow lifestyle that can hopefully help you if you are yearning for a slower, simpler life and still want to live in a big city. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me on the Simple Joys channel every Thursday. Let's get right into today's video. Can you live in a big city and still live a slow, simple lifestyle? Yes, you can. And these are my top 6 ways that you can live in a major city and still live a quiet, simple life. Here we go with number 1. Find local spaces. There are many public local spaces in cities that you can find more silence and stillness. The first one is obviously parks. Find local city parks, or maybe there's a tucked away little square park somewhere behind your office building. Parks are a great way to connect and ground ourselves in nature. Another local space that you can find are quiet streets. Maybe it's a quiet cul-de-sac. Maybe it's a one-way street in a local neighborhood in your city that's really still and silent. I encourage you to take a walk around your neighborhood and to start exploring your city and finding those quiet little spaces and quiet streets that provide you peace. A big local space that is really helpful to finding more silence and living slowly in a city is public buildings, museums, public libraries, chapels, churches. I recently went to Finland and I spent most of my time in the woods and nature up in the northern Lapland area, but I did spend a few days in Helsinki, and I remember I was really bombarded with all the noise and the billboards and the sounds in Helsinki. It's a very loud city, and I really needed some space to be quiet, and I actually picked up a book in a bookshop, and I turned to a page that advertised a silent chapel in Helsinki right in the middle of the city center. And so my husband and I went over to that silent chapel, and we spent like a good 30 minutes meditating in the most silent chapel I have ever been to. This just goes to show that there are very silent places in major cities. You just have to explore and find them. Another spot you can go to are cafes. There are some cafes that don't have music playing. Those are my favorite cafes to go to, so actively search them out. And the final place that is very silent and still in a major city are botanical gardens. They're often free, and there's also a silence and nature combo. So not only are you getting your nature in, but it's also really silent in botanical gardens, so you're getting that 2 for 1, which is really cool. So there you have it. Those are the public local spaces that are in cities that hopefully will bring you more silence and stillness and simplicity in your big city life. A great habit that you can cultivate to live a slower life in a big city is to take your full lunch break. Okay, take that full hour. If you are given an hour at your office, at your 9 to 5, whatever job you are working at, take your full lunch break and get out of the office. Go walk around the block. Go find a local park behind your office building. Get out, get some fresh air, and have a delightful lunch. You know, personally, I used to work an office 9 to 5 job in New York City, and I remember many of my coworkers would stay at their desk and eat their packed lunch at their desk, and I could not believe it. Don't do that. I don't care if you have lots of work to do. I don't care if your boss gets mad at you for leaving the office. Get out and do it for you. Do it for yourself. We're so accustomed to work mentality that we're not stopping to smell the roses and enjoy the time and the 1 hour lunch break that we are given. So please, I encourage you, take your lunch break. Go walk around the block. Often I would find a local park near my office building and I would bring a packed lunch and I would sit near this beautiful tree and I would just sit there and eat it, and I would indulge in each bite and I would take my time and slowly enjoy it. Sometimes I would read books, Sometimes I would listen to a podcast. Sometimes I would journal. I would bring my journal in my purse and I would just pull it out and just start journaling during my lunch break. And I don't at all regret it. Like, I don't care if anyone gets mad at me for taking my full lunch break, because I deserve it, and so do you. For my 9-to-5 office job people, if you are going out to a restaurant or going out to bring a takeout lunch or Chipotle or whatever it is, I encourage you to actually bring the fresh ingredients from your house and make your sandwich in the office kitchen or the office lounge. Bring all the ingredients for your sandwich or your salad and pause and take the time to create your meal in the kitchen, in your office kitchen. This is a great opportunity for those that love cooking, for those that love putting things together and being creative with their meals. This gives you a breather. This gives you a chance to relax and focus on the meal in front of you, something that's not your computer screen, something that's not work. Focus on creating your meal instead of rushing to go buy something that's to go, you know? Make it in the kitchen. Also bring your favorite plate, your favorite mug. Maybe you have a beautiful teacup or a teacup saucer or something that you'd like to bring from home that you want to enjoy your meal with, that makes you take the time to pause and slow down and enjoy the lunch that you have. Another thing that you could do is when you need a breather, when you need a moment to remind yourself to be still, when you're feeling overwhelmed with your emails or your work or your computer screen or whatever, bring some fruit and go to the kitchen or the lounge and just slowly peel it. Smell the delightful smells of the orange or the tangerine or the citron from the lemon, or cut the apple slices and just feel it. Get into those senses and really connect with that present moment. If you're ever feeling overwhelmed from staring at your computer screen, take a walk around the office. Maybe go to the kitchen and wash your Tupperware, wash your beautiful plates or your mugs that you brought from home, and clean it out with some soap and water. I love washing dishes. I get such a high, and anytime that I'm working a lot and staring at my computer screen, I will immediately go to the sink in the kitchen and I'll just get some soap on a sponge and I'll get it lathery and soapy in the warm water. Oh, I love it. And I'll just start washing dishes and it releases so much stress from me and it feels so good, and I always feel like a little ounce of joy after washing dishes. Maybe it'll bring you joy as well. I know it seems crazy, but ditch the podcast, ditch the music. Listen to the silence. You don't have to do this every day, right? This isn't an everyday thing. It's a bit extreme. I even wouldn't do that. Focus less on the noise and what the external is saying or singing or whatever, and focus on the here and now, the silence, the stillness that you have. I often love to ride my bike into the city center, and when I do that, I often listen to podcasts or music, but then there are some days when I just want to listen to silence and I just want to listen to nature and the birds around me and my own thoughts. Practice some observance, some awareness of what you are feeling, what you desire, what you really want. Think about your values, think about things that really matter to you. We are so bombarded by noise, by other people's words and other people's opinions, that we're focusing less and less in this loud world on ourselves. Go inward. Use your commute time to practice being still and love that silence, because it is here to help us. Another practical tip is give yourself an extra 10 minutes to get to work. I often am a little extreme. I like to leave myself an extra 20 to 30 minutes of commute time so that I can really go slow and enjoy the scenery around me and breathe. And if I want to stop and pause on my bike, I can hug a tree, or I can sit along the water and just touch some flowers, touch the grass, put my hands in the soil, watch some birds. Take an extra 5 minutes to get to where you need to be and admire the simple joys. Don't rush. Slow down, acknowledge what's around you, and give yourself some more commute time to pause and breathe. Another tip is change your daily habits. Stop having 10 tabs open on your laptop. I know I'm that person and I'm still training myself not to, but I have been getting better and it really does help. It makes me feel so grounded when I am focusing on one task at a time, monotasking instead of multitasking, focusing on one tab instead of 10 tabs open on my laptop. Practice observing you doing the task. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, where it's kind of an odd an out-of-body experience when you're basically watching yourself do the task instead of you looking at the task. When you're doing your work, have a few moments each workday where you literally observe yourself working, reading, checking email, doing whatever it is that you're doing. Pause and observe. How does this feel? Practicing awareness with our body and with what we're doing in that moment is a great way to live slowly, especially when we're living in a major city and we're really busy with work. Opt for a picnic instead of going out to a restaurant on your lunch break. When you go into the break room and you get yourself a cup of coffee, breathe the aroma in, really soak in the smell of the coffee, and enjoy it for a few seconds, like pause and slow down instead of rushing to grab the mug, fill the coffee, and rush back to your desk and then enjoying the coffee at your desk. Take a long sip, breathe it in, enjoy it. Don't rush to go to your desk with your mug, just enjoy. Changing our habits is a surefire way to start living more slowly and with intention in our busy city lives. The final tip: get clear on your values. Get really clear on what is most important to you. Don't cram your schedule. Don't fill every nook and cranny in your day. Start saying no to people. Start saying no to your friends. Maybe you had a really long work day and your friends are asking you to go to lunch or go to dinner and you really don't want to because you're tired and you want to rest and you want to go inward. Say no. You are more important. You are so much more important than your schedule or how many social plans you have with your friends. Start saying no more often. Ask yourself, is this essential? Is this vital to what I really want with my life? Am I really fulfilled and happy by taking on all these extra things, by going and being social at all these events and extracurriculars and planned things?
And you may be wondering, well, how do I get clear on my values? How do I know what my values even are? That's where we start digging deep. That's where we start becoming more silent and going within to ask for the answers rather than looking outside of us for the answers, rather than asking for advice or asking for tips from other people. This is where the you work comes in. The desire map is one of my favorite practical ways to discover my core values. In this workbook, there are a lot of journaling prompts to help you kind of really dig deep on your fears, your insecurities, your joys, the things that you love, the things that light you up in life. This workbook was a huge influence in my life. 2 years ago, I started filling it out and it really helped me solidify what I place value in. If you're living in a city or working a 9-to-5 office job or on that grind, really ask yourself, what is most important to me? Are my relationships the most important thing in my life? Is my faith the most important thing in my life? Or is my career, is leaving an impact or having a job and leaving behind a legacy of some sort? This is where you ask yourself, if my relationships are the most important thing in my life, why am I working a 10-hour workday? Why am I saying yes to my boss to do all these tasks that I didn't sign up for and that weren't in my job description and actually don't make me feel like I'm doing the work I'm supposed to in this job? This is where you start putting your foot down and start creating boundaries to live the life that you really want. I'm not saying to be that employee that's always complaining and like, well, that's not in the job description, that's not my job. I'm not saying to be that person, but just getting clear on what really is important to you and eliminating the clutter around it. And that's so important. It's essentialism, it's getting clear on what is most vital to you in your life, because when we think big picture and we think about how do I want to spend my time on earth? When we get clear on those values, when we understand what is truly important to us and the essential blocks to our vitality and our living on earth, that's when saying no and creating boundaries becomes super second nature. When we are living rushed city lives, it is imperative to get clear on what is most important to you and what fills your cup. And living in a rushed city can be hard, but these tips are hopefully ways that you can live slowly in a city. Just a few ways to implement some slow living techniques to your everyday life. If you're living in a city or you're living a traditional 9-to-5 office job, I hope these tips help. If you resonated with this message, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Are there some of these tips that you implement in your life that you have found to be very helpful or beneficial to your 9-to-5 day or living in a city? Or do you have any extra tips for maybe anyone else who's living in a city or, you know, working that 9-to-5 grind? Write them down in the comments below. I'm sure everyone will be very, very grateful to the tips. All right, that's it. I hope you have a magical day, my friend, and I will see you next Thursday here on The Simple Joys.